I would like to share with you fellow academicians or fellow environmentalists regarding a pivotal approach regarding framing plants as commercial commodity to build legal protection in Indonesia. And this is actually my second time in the network of Asia environmental philosophy. So it really inspires me that I wanted to explore more in the context of approaching the matters or the problems with the philosophical side. So when I wrote this paper, this issue, I started by the rise of environmental abuse, especially if I were talking in the context of Indonesia. So Indonesia seems to disregard the importance of the environment, namely forests, the waters, the seas, and what happens that we have a lot of illegal logging cases, yeah, and then some forest burning, and it usually happens because of the humans. So it's a human caused problems, and so based on my previous writing regarding the Indonesian environmental philosophy, especially regarding the coexisting, where the people or Indonesian people coexist with the nature and the environment. Now, that philosophy has significantly degraded or started to lose its self in the application. So, what I wanted to discuss in this paper, there's two problems. The first one being how does the philosophy of value and price disrupt the environment purchase philosophy? And the second one would be how does the Indonesian government conceptualize plans to be commercial commodities to legally protect it? So first, what I wanted to discuss, or just to rehash or to refresh what the Indonesian environmental philosophy is like. Indonesia has embraced the philosophy of coexistence with the environment. They embrace the environment into their way of life, even in when they conduct the daily habits. For example, previously it's like the honoring of the mountains. It's known by the Javan customary before they conduct their activity in the morning. But it is not only also means about the way of respecting the environment, but by respecting the environment, they also protect the environment. So it was supposed to be the Indonesian environment philosophy. It's supposed to be held or embraced by most Indonesian people. However, uh, nowadays, what with the rising needs of living or the higher living costs in Indonesia, there's been a lot of cases that disregard or even violates the nature itself. In Indonesia, especially in Jambi, there are a lot of illegal logging, as you can see in the presentation. This is one of the famous wood. It's called punak wood. Located in Jambi, or it's in the Sumatra island of Indonesia, and it has a really good quality of wood. They usually made for the luxurious table. In fact, Indonesian President Joko Widodo used his presidential table uses this wood, and for the cost of the 1 cubic or the 1 meter square, it costs about 4 million Indonesian rupiahs. But the people that do the illegal logging, actually sell it far cheaper, around 1.5 million Indonesian rupiahs or 2 million rupiahs. So what happened is that the people who does the illegal logging costs uh, they do not care about the impact of the environment. They do not care the impact of the illegal logging. They just care about getting the money, easy money. And another example is also the illegal trade to the black market regarding the plants. So there is also a protected plant. It's known by Nepenthes plant or Kantong Semar as in Indonesian, and it costs about 500,000 Indonesian rupiah. So maybe around $60 Singapore dollars. I'm not sure about that, but They also sell it to the abroad, and it also endangers the plants. So uh, this kind of cases show that plants in Indonesia are seen as an expendable asset, and because of the need of Indonesian to get easy money, they conduct environmental crime. And the worst part of it is that the Indonesian people have started to forget the Indonesian philosophy, the coexistence philosophy, that they only care about getting the money, but they don't care about what happens to the environment. And worst of it all, they don't know if it's a crime because they are the local people around, but they have forgotten the philosophy that they said that it belongs to them. The plants, the trees, uh, basically the whole environment. So that's what makes it complicated. The development of environmental protection. So, what I found in my research is that there is relevancies between the Indonesian philosophy and the Indonesian coexisting with nature, along with the philosophy of value and price, as stated by the Publius Cyrus. He said that everything is worth what it's purchased and purchaser will pay for it. So uh, it returns back to the law of economics, right? Supply and demand, because people have recognized the need or the good of the let's say, for example, the punakut that I've said before. Then they started to commercialize it as something of good, great, and they started, playing with the price, but they do not care about how to provide it or what it would impact it. So, um, uh, when I was researching it, I tried to class these philosophies, whether we can find some relevance and some similarities. Yeah, I found that being in the using the Indonesian environmental coexistence, it means to recognize the balance between environment and the living needs, and that's why Indonesian people used to prioritize environment protection. However, if we were to compare it to value and philosophy, it's basically saying that what people willing to pay, it becomes what it values or matters. So, in a way, uh, if we were to apply value and philosophy to the way of living, we know that uh, what people pay, it becomes valuable or matters. And but what happens is that there is a degradation in the Indonesian environmental protection that people doesn't seem to recognize what truly matters and what truly values. They see what they pay in the terms of money. They don't care about the sustainability. They do not care about the life length of the environment. So they are not seeing the big picture; they're only seeing the broad picture, and that's why, like what I discussed previously, is that Indonesian. So what I was saying is that there's been a contradiction between the Indonesian philosophy and the value and price philosophy, and what the philosophy value and price troubles or become troublesome is because the Indonesian people applies or embrace the value and price philosophy, but in the way of putting money as what matters valuable. They do not see the bigger picture; they see the short picture. All right. So Indonesia has tried to implement it, the mix of Indonesian environmental protection or philosophy, along with the philosophy of value and price. That's why they have the Act 5 of 1990, and they've said that every single biodiversity, including a land and water base, is valued. So in a way, Indonesian government recognizes that plants and trees and every environment, natural piece or product is actually has a value, economical value. But it begs the question that uh, that means they are treating the environment as a economical things or economical commodities. And as environmental philosophy or Indonesian environmental philosophy, we should not treat it as like that. but we treat it as our source of a protection. So that's why some of the environmentalist figures, I still remember the governor of Laiti, the Indonesian governor, he argues about the importance of correcting such act or regulation with the latest statute or act. It's Act 32 of 2009 regarding environmental protection, in which in the section 42 and 43 argues that even though that the plants and other biodiversity can be seen as an economical instrument, it can be categorized as such as long as there is a proper environmental analysis, or AMDAL is the Indonesian word, analysis dampak lingkungan, so to maintain its sustainability. So in a way, Indonesian government recognizes how, um, if I may, but it's not really, I don't mean to offend it. Indonesian government recognizes how short-sighted Indonesian people is. That's why they put up this regulation to uh, put uh, recognition or conscience regarding how to maintain the sustainability of the environment. But in a way, you can say it's a way to scare the people off, because yeah, Indonesian people are a bit hot-headed. It's better to scare them off rather than to, bring them to understand. It's a classic. That's all. These regulations talk about the general provisions, the general regulation, but we have the reason regulation that gives a proper or technical procedures to conduct so. It is regulated in the Presidential Regulation 92 of 2020. 2020, and the section 44 said that it can be used for the sustainability, but you can be used, the plans can be used for economical aspects, but it must focus on the sustainability. That's why some corporates have to conduct some sort of corporate social responsibility, and then they have to do the economical analysis to prevent further harm to the environment. So in a way, the government balances the two philosophies, the coexisting with the environment or the nature philosophy, and the philosophy of value and price. And to conclude, so I would like to say that environmental abuse has been one of the worst and dangerous issue that rises due to the illegal market, and I still believe and I still hope that Indonesian people can embrace the Indonesian nature in coexisting philosophy, and especially sustainability now that the regulation, the Environmental Acts and supplementary regulation has been balanced or recognized in the latest environmental statutes, and the suggestions that I've made is that hopefully that environment ministry guidance or the regulations can complete the protection by uh, giving a proper appraisal for the value of plants. Otherwise, then the illegal markets would play a very vital role to prevent our attempt in preserving and protecting the environment. Thank you very much for the opportunity.